What's good, YouTube? I'm back here again going over the best plant deck in Edison, Amaryllis. I wanted to go over the first initial list I came up with, the second one, and now the latest one that I got 5th place in this online tournament. This deck has been doing good locally with big events, YCSs, and now online. Amaryllis Tytannial Turbo, I'm gonna call it AT&T for short, and let's get it. The initial list that I got my first top with, Amaryllis, was in a big Edison tournament that had about 64 players. I ran a dark package to accommodate the lacking of some aspects of Amaryllis, as well as to counter the bricks that possibly happens in the matches. For the darks, I ran a Mystic Tomato, a Sangan, Plague Spreader, Spirit Reaper, Necrogarna, Gores, Tragodia. Paired with the Allure of Darkness, this allowed my deck to perform even if I bricked with Amaryllis or a Tytannial. It allowed me to see more cards with Allure, or even stall or play defensive with Gores, Spirit Reaper, and Tragodia. Along with the effects of Tragodia, where you can discard a level 8 to take an Ab 0, a Colossal, or even a Stardust, and counter. With the dark list, I actually still like it to this day. There's a few cards that I would adjust, but the build itself is still strong. I decided to change the list to be able to run more of a plant focus and accommodate some new cards. And let's see what inspired the second list. This second list that I came up with was inspired by a few other Amaryllis players that ran Miracle Fertilizer and Pollinosis. So then I got to cooking and I came up with a list that I almost placed in a tournament of 74 players. I messed up in round 2 where I forgot to grab my Stardust back from the graveyard because of some time issues, and I lost my train of thought. Lesson learned, but with that and a couple other misplays throughout the tournament, I would have easily made a top cut placing and done way better than I have. And that's something I've learned and will continue to improve. So for this list, we're looking at a main deck Gravity Rose. I was looking into testing it. I tested out at 2, and a few times I bricked with drawing the second one. I cut it down to 1 just to have the chance to play it, see it, and be able to mill Lone Fire, grab back by Miracle Fertilizer. I could dump a Dandy, Plague Spreader, or even Necrogarna if Gravity Rose is able to use this effect. I tried card destruction to be able to see more cards, discard the bricks, but at the end of the tournament I felt like it wasn't as needed, and it also contributes to your opponent's game state progressing, so in the end I didn't like that card too much. For Miracle Fertilizer, I felt like it was such a strong card being incorporated with the Amaryllis deck. It brought out Lone Fire for plays, Tytannial, and really increased the power level. And along with Pollinosis, I was able to combo off with Miracle Fertilizers, Dandy tokens, or even just set Dandy and set a Pollinosis. It's pretty strong. I like that card. I feel like the Miracle Fertilizer is this deck's Miracle Fusion. It really changes the game and the power of what Tytannial and Amaryllis can combo off and do. And finally, here is the updated list that I have for the E&T Edison tournament that I played and got 5th place in. As you can see, there are some different cards that have not been mained lately in the quote-unquote standard of Amaryllis, but I feel like this is the new standard. I may be wrong, but this is how I feel with running the deck. Running 2 Amaryllis, I have noticed a few things. You see it less in your hand, and you also see it less in the graveyard. But the benefit of that is being more consistent with their opening hands and being less bricked up with Tytannials and Amaryllis. A change that I made was to keep Sangan and cut Morphing Jar. I do love Morphing Jar. While it can give you a +5, it also can give your opponent a plus something too. So I didn't really like that, considering what Sangan can provide early game and even mid game. It can give you a guarantee search, a +1 of something you really need, or a card that you can use in the situation and change the game. I am running 2 Debris Dragons. Shout out to my brother, he was always trying to push Debris in this Amaryllis plant deck that I was running since the beginning. But with the standard of Amaryllis at that time was to run 3 hidden armories and not the miracle yet, but when the miracle was introduced, it's still a card that didn't let you normal summon if you were to use it. So with the last list, I was hesitant to add Debris, but now with my new list, I've cut down on a hidden armory to 1 and keeping the 2 miracle fertilizer. With the double Debris added, it really made the deck a lot stronger. Having access to an instant Black Rose or even a Stardust with the Titanium on field to really have a lock on the opponent. Another card you can see is Hamster. I've added that in place of Botanical Lion. I do understand Botanical Lion can be strong and it do have its upside, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a solid monster, like kind of a brick. It'll just sit there without gaining you real advantage. On the other hand, Hamster, it could really do a lot. It could block the damage for Shura and other boss monsters, and it can give you an instant out from the deck, Raikou, popping any cards you need. Hamster is also a card that is like an engine starter. It gives you a +1, it gives you a mill for Raikou, a pop for the effect, and it also gives you 2 bodies in case you need to tribute it for a Titanium or even an Amaryllis that has been stuck in your hand. Now another card that's been controversial in this deck is Gorz. The deck uses Hidden Armory and Miracle Fertilizer, the cards that stops you from normal summoning. And if they're able to get rid of the equip card or Miracle and your Titanium, you have an open board, which allows Gorz to play. Gorz is also good because it could change the game and even win. Gorz plus Brain is game. I've cut down Hidden Armory to 1. And with that, I bumped up Brain control. Brain is too crazy not to run, and I feel like the restriction from the normal summon on Hidden Armory is kind of a lot. And I don't like running a repetitive card that restricts my gameplay. With 1 Hidden Armory, 1 Market Rose, and now Brain Control, I feel like these 3 cards makes up for not running the 3 Hidden Armories and allow me to make more extensions within the deck. Now with the new addition of My Body as a Shield, I feel like it has been a very necessary card lately to be able to protect your Titanium, your Debris play, and counter one of the biggest threats to the deck, which is Royal Oppression. I've added back Starlight Road to really try and play off of the My Body as well to have full coverage in this deck, because once you establish your board and can protect it, you pretty much win the game. Let's take a look at the traps. These are the cards that I've picked personally and feel like has really improved my matchups against my worst. And Deep Prison has been such a great card to even counter cards like Colossal Fighter, Catastor, and other cards such as like Bora, Shura, and other beaters. To take advantage of that, Titanium can protect your traps and even the Stardust you can make with Debris. So with that board presence plus protection of some real traps, it's too good not to run. I took out Trap Dust Shoot and added to the side and ran 1 Bombless in the main. So in game 1, I don't want to end up drawing a dead card mid to late game. And now for the side deck, I ran a Gale, a Sirocco for the Blackwing Vayu matchup. I ran 1 Cyber Dragon, 1 DD Crow, and an Aaron for the monsters. I ran 2 Lightning Vortex to clear the board. I ran 2 Soul Release just in case I milled one against Frog Heroes or Miracle Fusion decks. For the traps, I had a Bombless Trap Hole, 2 Dust Tornadoes, a Return, a Dust Shoot, and a Trap Stun. For the extra deck, nothing's too notable except the double Stardust, and throughout the whole tournament, 2 Stardusts did not come up, so I might cut that for an Android, which possibly could have came up in my top cut match, so something to consider. For my tournament, in round 1, I played against Blackwings. It was a good match, and I got it 2-0. Round 2, I played against Twilight Sworn. It was kind of a rough matchup, but I ended up getting it in game 3. In round 3, I played against Vayu Turbo. I lost 2-0. In that game, I misplayed and I also lost to a return. Pretty strong. Round 4, I played against another Value Turbo, losing 0-2. I lost because he had so much gas that he OTK'd me, and also in another game I did misplay on my part. Round 5, I played against Christius Warren. I ended up winning in game 3, taking it 2-1. In round 6, I played against a mirror match, Amaryllis, piloted by Adam, the guy who was a finalist with Amaryllis in the YCS recently. Shout out to Adam for being a good sport in this round. In game 1, it was a good back and forth, but I was able to get it. Game 2, Adam took control of it mid to end game and won. And in game 3, it was a good little back and forth, but I ended up getting it. And Adam kind of bricked on Tytannial in the mid to end game. In round 7, I played against Value Turbo, going 2-1 against that matchup. And in round 8, I played against Black Wings. It was a crazy game, and I ended up getting it in 2-0. That was the final round of Swiss, and my record was 6-2 at the end of it. I placed 14 out of 16 at the end of Swiss, and my first opponent for top cut was Value Turbo. This was one of the best matches that I had personally, and it showcased the deck's power and what Miracle Fertilizers can really do. I will show the replay at the end of the video. For my top 8 match, I played against another Value Turbo. I got the first game, lost the second, and ended up losing game 3. I feel like I probably could have played game 3 a little better and also cover more with some Therio and really be able to capitalize on that. However, I didn't and I lost. So that's another thing that I've learned throughout this tournament. The top 4 all receives an invite. However, 2 of the 4 already had an invite. So the tournament host decided to have a special little round for the losing top 8 to be able to play out and see who will be the winner of the other 2 invites. I played against a surprisingly another Value Turbo. I ended up getting it in game 3. It was a crazy match, and I was able to secure an invite to the Edison World Tournament at the end of the year. Now let's go over and review my top 16 match for the tournament. Thank you for watching, and see you in the Edison World Tournament. AT&T Best.Deck.